So let's talk about Konaté. Let's talk about Konaté, man. A lot of people are talking about Konaté recently. You probably saw the thumbnail as well. That's probably one of the main reasons as to why people are speaking about Konaté. Um, interesting one. Another interesting one. Yeah, Liverpool players are very intriguing. Very, very intriguing. Maybe this is just, the times that we're living in and, in terms of the way that football is being viewed. And also maybe because the era that Liverpool might potentially be going into. So people are, micro analyzing everything. And yeah, yeah, it's becoming a very, very funny old thing. I mean, if you haven't seen the thumbnail and you've just, I don't know, accidentally clicked, this video, obviously Kanate had an interview or press conference, I think it was, with the French national team, I believe. I'm not even 100% sure because I haven't actually seen it myself. I've just heard it from quite a few people where he says, Mbappe pressuring me to join Real Madrid. He calls me every 2 hours. He then chuckles afterwards. Now, of course, Liverpool fans, as expected, have gone completely off the boil and gone completely mad with the news about Kanate and his potential feelings towards joining Real Madrid and potentially leaving a massive club like Liverpool. And now I think what we're seeing how, like, when I see stuff like this, right, we're seeing how football fan bases, obviously, as they should do, and I need to reiterate that. I need to hammer that point. But football fan bases are very fickle, very, 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 very fickle in terms of the way that they treat players, the way that they speak about players, and how they can change their mind about players so quickly. So we're seeing that quite a lot now, with Ibou Konaté at this moment in time. So as I mentioned, obviously this thing, and the thing is, I laugh every time I see it. I just laugh. I honestly just laugh because, as I mentioned before, like it's all I can say is that football fans are just so fickle. They're just so fickle, man. Like, this is a player, right? Now, I don't think he's the world class player that some people, I've seen the tweets, and I believe the tweets are probably even still there. But some people have said that Konate is a world class centre back and like yada yada yada. And listen, if you think he's world class, then you think he's world class, innit? It's just one of those. But I don't think he is. I never have thought he is. Think he's got the bozo gene. Think he's always had the bozo gene, but he can put in monster performances. Performances where you're like, Jesus, nobody can get past him. But I've seen that from, I don't know, Tarkovsky. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those kind of things. I'm not saying he's of that level, but I've seen it from Tarkovsky as well, where he's putting performances where I thought, wow, this is probably the best defender in the league. Do you know what I mean? That's how good the performances are. All of a sudden now, Kanate, people are, and I was gonna put the tweets up, but I thought, nah, you know what? I don't even want to, I don't even want to get on to no one in particular because there's so many of you. To be honest with you, the disrespect that I've seen of Kanate is immense, considering maybe 3 months ago, when did he win? September now. Season ended in May. So what's that? May, June, July, August, September. So it's 3, 4 months ago the season ended, right? Most Liverpool fans that I saw, anyways, the ones who were talking about Konate and how good or bad he actually is, yeah, they said he's probably the best centre back in the world after Virgil van Dijk. Now, not everybody has said that. Some people have just put him in, the top 3, top 4 kind of thing. Some people say top 5. Some people even now still say, he's a top 5 centre back. I'll tell you where I place him. Come near towards the end of the video, to be fair. But now those same people have turned around. Yeah, he's replaceable. Yeah, we can just get Gay in. Gay. Now, listen, I think Gay is a good defender for Crystal Palace. I think he's probably one of England's best centre backs, although that's not really an achievement considering England have very poor centre backs at this current moment in time. But he is one of the better ones for England. But Gay is just calm. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't even. I don't think his Gay's even like a top 10 centre back, to be honest with you. When I think about it. I'd probably have to go through like a list of them, and yeah, maybe I would have done so by the time that this video's come out. But yeah, I don't know where I would place Gay. Like he's obviously not top 5. I'm struggling to. I'm gonna say he's outside the top 10 centre backs in the world that I can think of anyway off the top of my head, right? So if he's outside the top 10, why are people clamoring to sign Gahey? That's the part that I think I find so weird about it is that, yeah, we should just get Gahey. We can replace Konaté with Gahey. But you guys said that Virgil Van Ibou Konaté is only is only got Virgil van Dijk in front of him. That doesn't make any sense. So if he's only got one centre back in front of him and that one centre back plays for Liverpool, how can you think that getting in Gahey would somehow improve Liverpool? Wouldn't it just make us worse? Like, surely, I'm just trying to think logically. Now, obviously, Gahey brings a kind of a different skill set and stuff like that. Obviously, I haven't really seen him, defending wide areas too much. If I'm being totally honest with you, playing for Crystal Palace. Not saying he can't do it, by the way. I'm pretty sure he can do it, but I haven't seen it like that where I can really judge it, so to speak. He's definitely not faster than Konaté. He ain't stronger than Konaté. Aerial duels, I do believe that's something that people have spoken about in regards to Gahey. But again, that's not to say that they are poor, they are rubbish. They're just maybe not as good as a Konaté. And what's he like when you come up against really fast wingers? When you've got to defend an entire side of the pitch to yourself that Konaté obviously has had to do for a numerous amount of years. These are things that I'm not going to say he can't do, but let's just see. Let's just see. At the moment, he hasn't shown us enough to suggest that these are things that he can do, or he can do on a consistent enough basis at the top level. Konaté has obviously shown that he can do it. He's, like I say, he's a good defender. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, he's not my I don't think he's a world class defender. I don't think he's better than Gabriel or Saliba in that, or Bastoni for that kind of measure. And even I mean, depending if you count Koundé as a centre back, if not, I don't think he's better than Koundé at centre back anyway. So yeah, I put him a bit further down in that kind of list, but he's still he's still one of the better centre backs that are that would be out there. So I'm just wondering, and I need people to obviously in the comment section let me know what's the logic behind thinking that you could just sign Mark Gay and Liverpool just automatically improve. That's the bit. Now, obviously, I get it. Liverpool started the season, not really played that well so far. Obviously, got the 3 victories, top of the league at this current moment in time, but he hasn't really played that well. The team haven't really played that well. He's had a couple shaky performances, played really good against Arsenal. But yeah, it's just one of those kind of things. But honestly, I'm so astounded when I saw some of the comments that have been left under Konaté after under that post and stuff, on that tweet. Even at the time of this video that I'm recording it, I'm listening to people talk about Konaté is amazing, considering the way you spoke about him. It makes me think about are people really having nuanced football conversations, or is it just I get it. Obviously, if you're biased to your team in it, and I do understand that, but it also shows me that we can't have a real football conversation. Do you know what I mean? Because your level of intelligence in regards to these conversations can only go as far as I support this team, so this team must be this, that, and the third. That's kind of what I'm getting from quite a lot of people in terms of the way that they are speaking about Konaté, at this moment in time. Now, let's look at the minutes from Konaté, since joining the football club, right? Because again, this is something that I've seen quite a lot of people speak about. Quite a lot of people have, been a little bit annoyed about it. Obviously, we'll look at the injuries as well, and this could be some of the reasons and stuff like that. Although still quite funny. So obviously, in his first season, 2,490, it's got here. Second season, 2,080. Then third season, 2,589, and then last season he played 3,372 minutes, there or thereabouts. I'm sure they probably got it wrong by a couple of minutes or whatever, but either way, that's the most amount of minutes he's obviously played. Of course, helped us to win the Premier League alongside Virgil van Dijk. Then you look at the injuries that he's obviously sustained whilst being at the football club. This is one of the reasons why I've always said that you can't rely on someone like I mean, if you go back to the minutes and stuff like that, 3,000 last season, or over 3,300 last season, 2,500 the season before that, 2,000, 2,400. It's so inconsistent when it comes to kind of like Konaté. You don't really know, is he going to be fit for a full season? Is he going to get an injury? And when he does get these injuries, how long does it take for him to, get back from these injuries? And I think that's always also an issue, for Konaté since obviously, joining Liverpool. Now, obviously, of course, when he was at RB Leipzig, he had that massive injury, if you all remember, before even joining Liverpool. He was coming back from that crazy injury, and you're like, whew, all right, cool. I remember, was it him and Upamecano? I'm sure Upamecano was there, but I think he was there. Yeah, he was there. He was there because I think I remember thinking we were signing Upamecano, and I wanted Upamecano anyway. Now he's also got the bozo gene as well. I just think he's. I don't know. Like the sign about. I feel like you know what, Upamecano and Konaté, they're on the exact same level for me. I don't feel like you will prefer some things from him. Upamecano is better on the ball than a Konaté, in my opinion. Um, yeah, other than that, I feel like they're both very similar at like in terms of just their overall abilities playing at the back anyway. So yeah, I'll put him on like whatever an Upamecano level is, whatever that is. Like that's still a good level, of course. Still, it's still a I can play for a top team level, but it's not gonna win any awards type of level, so to speak, in terms of how you like individual or individually, kind of thing. But yeah, like I said, I just find it so interesting, man. The way people are replace like the word replaceable. I think that's what's really killing me is that people are just calling him replaceable, and I'm like, right, is it that crazy? Now, obviously, this came out as well. Apparently, Konate to Real Madrid, the deal is now very advanced. Now, obviously, we don't want Liverpool fans, and this I agree with and I understand. You don't want to be put in the same position you was in with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I understand that totally. Um, but on the flip side of it, I am also like, well, Liverpool can do something about it ultimately. Do you know what I mean? They could either sign the deal or get him or give him what he wants, which they do not have to, by the way. And by the way, I haven't got a clue what that is. I really don't know what the numbers are. I've seen way too much stuff just banded about, so I really don't know. But either you sign what you want to give him, and that's what he feels he's worth, and he also has every right to ask for that. Liverpool do not need to extend it if they don't believe that that's what he is worth. That's absolutely fine. That is absolutely fine. But the way people are talking about him, I don't mind where if it's one of those where it's like, listen, if Liverpool don't want to sign you to that deal because they don't feel like there's value in that, that's absolutely fine. They're well within their rights to do so, and you're well within your rights to ask for something like that. But I mean, it's Real Madrid. I'm sure PSG, I think, are even like we're talking about like no matter what I even think about Konate, I mean, he's only really got like top clubs after him. It's not like he's got like I'm trying to think of like a midi type of like a Newcastle or like a Villa or something. Like I would understand if it was like those clubs who were looking at him, Marseille or something, like those kind of teams where you're like, yeah, but look, these are the kind of clubs that are after you. You know what I mean? Like, but you're asking for. I want to like I play for Liverpool money. That's the kind of money he's asking for. I play for one of the supposed top clubs in world football right now. Blah blah blah. That's what he's asking for. He's not asking like he's not a Villa level player and he's asking for Liverpool money. Bro, like he's a Liverpool level player. Do you get what I'm saying? So him asking for the money, I don't know what that is, by the way. So I could be way off in terms of he's asking for crazy amounts, where even I'm like, nah, fuck that. But the way that Liverpool fans have just, in my opinion, starting to turn on him a little bit every like the 3 games that we've played so far, the I don't even mind you scrutinizing because I scrutinize players all the time, but it's the way that people are scrutinizing Kanate. I find that more interesting than anything else. Now, obviously, you can see this was 20th of Jan this year, 2025, 20th of Jan, right? This is Konate obviously speaking about contracts, whatever. It's true. I've been offered a new contract by Liverpool. Am I close to signing it? That's another conversation. But the agreement remains close. All parties are confident. That was in Jan. We're now in September, and that deal now looks like it's moved the other way. This is in April. Ibou Konaté on his future. New deal. This is a conversation with the club, and we will see. So this is in Jan. Just follow me. But this is in Jan, right? It's true he's been offered a new contract by Liverpool. Is he close? That's another conversation. To then April times, this is a conversation with the club, and we will see. So maybe he was never really close to signing that deal in the first place anyway. This is obviously in December of 2024. So this is last year. This is just before all of the other stuff I just put there. Talks over a new deal for Konaté at Liverpool keep proceeding as planned. Club confident to get it sealed. LFC management and coaching staff happy with Konaté as they want him to be part of long-term project. So I can understand that. Of course, they on the slot, and they probably and he probably does. He probably does. He probably does respect Konaté enough. Obviously, but he's not the one who has to sort out the contract. Ultimately, he's just the beneficiary of that, whether they sort it out or don't sort it out. But you can see like it's just seeming like it's just been stalling for a little while, and obviously Liverpool don't want to be left in a position where you let him go for free. I get that. Crystal Palace, as we've seen, they also don't want to do the same thing. So we also don't want to do that. You don't like losing players for free. If you can sell them, why not just sell them? So January is going to be interesting. If he hasn't obviously signed the new deal before then, would I like him to sign a new deal? Yeah, I would like. I wouldn't really mind. Like, I'm not going to be too fussed about it, to be honest with you. The only reason why I think of that is just because the centre backs I would sign, I don't feel that they're going to be attainable. So from when they're not really attainable, I don't know. Like, I'm not really trying to look for. We can all do the scouting. We can all load up Football Manager and maybe find another centre back potentially who could be as good, if not better, than a Konaté. I'm not saying, and I'm also not saying that they are not centre backs that probably could be that, who are already out there now, but if you've already got the rice at home, sometimes just eat your food at home. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't need to always go to McDonald's and have to grab a food just because you're hungry, because you're still going to be hungry later on, as we know. So, yeah, I feel like fans need to sometimes just check yourself a little bit in terms of the way that you speak, and just remember everything's recorded, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, everything we put on Twitter, we can delete stuff, but people probably be screenshotting things all the time. So we need to just be careful the way that we talk about some of these players, because ultimately they all see this stuff. Do you get what I mean? I mean, that's if you care anyway, to be fair. I don't care, so I will call someone shit if I think you're shit. So because I don't actually care, like, you're a professional player, like, that's your business, not mine. But you never ever see me flip flop. I feel like that's what 90% of the online fan base I've seen have just flip flopped in the last month. And I can't even say it's been a full month, but I'll say the last month, a lot of this fan base have just flip flopped with Konaté. All of a sudden now his flaws are getting, shown up even more so. And I'm like, he's been a bozo, like, been had the bozo gene for time. I'm not gonna call him a bozo because I don't feel like it's that strong of a gene, but it's there. But he's been having the bozo gene, like, but nobody wanted to hear it when I was saying it. Everyone kind of just kept quiet about it, which is fine, by the way. But then don't bring it up now. Like, that to me, that's kind of tacky. It's kind of weird that people are bringing it up now. Like, why would you bring that up now? What? Because he hasn't signed a new deal yet. Like, and all of a sudden he's replaceable for Mark Gay. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, that to me, that is so crazy, the way that it's kind of transpired now. But listen, it allows players to know where they stand with fans and stuff like that, and it also, it's just one of those kind of things. Again, it's just football at the end of the day. So, it's probably not even that deep, but I just found it funny. I found it kind of interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, man. Like, how are you feeling about this whole Konaté stuff? Like, where do you guys stand? When it does come, to Konaté, are you with him? Are you against him? Want him to leave? Do you want him to stay? And also give me a number. Maybe I'll put some comments in the comment section myself, and you guys can just kind of reply to him. I want to know, like, what's a good number for you guys that you would say, nah, he's worth this, but he ain't worth that, kind of thing. So let me know your thoughts, comment section, as per usual. Catch you guys soon, man.